Chef Cell was recorded on a cell phone in front of a fake audience.
Hey guys, Chef Cell right here. Oh, hello everybody. I'm so happy for this one. You're going to love it. You're going to love it. Yes, this is Chef Cell at Chef Cell's Crazy Cooking Show. We are on YouTube. We are on Facebook. I'm still trying to figure out that Instagram thing. You got to connect the thing with the... I don't know. Anyway, I think this is week 13. We are going around the country. I am showing you the top Googled recipe in each USA state. We are now up to Illinois. And when you think of Illinois, you think of Chicago. And when you think of Chicago and you're into a foodie and you're into that kind of thing, you got to think of Chicago deep dish pizza. And I got to tell you, you would think everybody knew how to make it out there. Well, maybe they're just interested in watching it. It's a little different, everybody. The crust is different, the sauce is different, the way you cheese it, the way you sauce it, the way you everything it. Even the way you cook it, it's all different. I've made a couple of these in my lifetime. I haven't had a great one, but you will learn how to make a great one. Now, let's not get into the whole authentic thing. People write in, that's not the real authentic. You're probably right, but it's the closest I could get to the real thing when you go to the actual restaurants out there. So we have to get started because there's a lot to do, believe it or not. It's gonna take 2 hours to rise this pizza dough. It's a unique pizza dough. Preheat your oven to 200. When it hits 200, turn it off. That's where you're going to rise the dough. How do you make the dough? Venica, as my grandpa used to say. It means make sure you walk the dog before you put out the cat. Come here. Now, I have this in grams. This is 500 grams of, believe it or not, gluten-free flour. Now, I know what you're going to say, but I'm not gluten-free. I'll enjoy the regular gluten. You can use the regular gluten flour. But this is more of a biscuity type of crust for the real authentic Chicago pizza. I did my homework. So, gluten-free is fine. What gluten does, they call it the window pane effect. You can scratch it like that to test it, and it looks like a window. It stays together really thin. You know what I mean? It stays together really thin, just like me. I'm staying together. Anyway, I'm using Caputo right over here. Here's what this stuff is. Look this stuff up. If you're making pizza dough and you're gluten-free, even if you're making a regular pizza, it's the stuff. So what we're doing is we're doing 500 grams of that. You're going to use whatever flour you can get your hands on. Try to go for gluten-free though. It's really hard for me to tell you the measurements on a lot of this stuff because everybody buys a different kind of flour, and then you're going to be like, hey, this made white mud. Who is this guy? This guy with the straw hat. Somebody get me Martha Stewart. I'm sorry, okay? I'm going to tell you what I used. It's a trial and error thing. So let's just go with us 500 grams of this flour. And we have some instant dry yeast that we have proofed. That's 10 grams of this instant dry yeast. And we've proofed it with 400 grams of warm water, a little on the hot side, but not steaming hot, and you'll be fine. You don't need a thermometer. They're for other places. Just do that. And a pinch of sugar. That's it. Mix it around, okay? 2 cups on that water if you're going for the cups. Oops, let me put this here with the oil. That would be a good idea, right? And 400 grams of that water if you're going for the grams. Get yourself one of these things. Doesn't cost you a lot. And I got to tell you, a lot of good recipes using these the metrics now, your grams and all the milliliters and all that. Go for it. Give it a shot. It'll be more consistent because, you know, when you put out a cup of stuff, sometimes, you know, you don't put this stuff, it's higher and lower, and you know what I mean. So just listen to me and everything will be fine. Now we also have, I took 1/4 cup of this flour out after I measured it out. And you're like, what is he doing that for? Is this guy like out of his mind? No. Chicago pizza has this chewiness And guess, it's not really a crunchiness. I'm going to call it a chewiness, but a crispy chewiness that you only get by putting a 1/4 cup of yellow cornmeal in there when you take that 1/4 cup of flour out of there. Okay, and we think we already talked about the salt. That's a couple of teaspoons. If not, it's a couple of teaspoons. And 17 grams of that salt if you're playing at home that way. And mix it around. That's all you need to do. Now over here, I told you about this 2 cups of water and the yeast, right? It's easy. And a little bit of sugar. So the yeast can eat the sugar and it can, you know, get a little bit of a stomach problem and bloat. Little bloat. Yeah, that's it. And about 2 tablespoons of oil. Okay? It's 15 grams of that oil. All right, so what are we gonna do? We've got a KitchenAid. If you don't have a KitchenAid, it's okay. Just do what I did with the whisk. But I'm gonna go around with this dough hook, medium speed, nothing crazy. Since I already mixed it, I'm gonna pour the wet right in there, okay? So here goes that yeast, water, and a little sugar. And what you want is you want a ball of dough. You're not gonna get a stringy, pulley, elastic ball of dough. You're gonna get a gluten-free ball of dough, which is perfect for this pizza. Where do you see it? Now that that's in, I'm gonna get that oil in there. Perfect. That's your dough. That's it. Nothing crazy. You know, you don't have to do any crazy stuff. I'm gonna knead it a little bit when I get it out of here, but that's only just to make a little ball out of it, and that's it, man. I'm telling you. So let me do this, and then we'll edit knead right back in. Okay. So this has been spinning round and round and round for about 5 minutes with the dough hook, and it's a little, it's kind of bally already. So I have some bench flour down, gluten-free flour. This Caputo flour I told you about, and just put it on here. Now it's really, really sticky, and I don't mind that a little bit, but it's crazy sticky. It's too wet. It's too wet. And I used the same exact recipe a couple of days ago, and it was perfect. So you just got to go with, the way the weather is. The weather will affect your pizza dough, folks. See what I'm doing? It's a very easy knead, but it's just a mixing knead. I'm just mixing the flour in with this ball of dough. I'm not trying to pop any glutens because there really aren't any in here. Most of these gluten-free flours have a fake gluten, like xanthan gum or guar gum, things like that. It's a takeoff of parts of a piece of corn, basically, which you really don't need to know about, so don't worry. So this, I'm just gonna go around a little bit, and once it doesn't stick to you totally, after it absorbs a little bit, you're ready to let it start rising, give it a break, give it a chance. Jeez. All right. So I'll show you what she looks like. Looks like a regular piece of dough. It's nice and soft. We're gonna put this back in a bowl such as this. I have vegetable spray the inside, and I'm taking my dough here, and I'm gonna slap it down and then turn it over and get that side of it kind of oiled down. And this will dry out pretty quick, so you want to cover it. Some plastic wrap here, or saran wrap. And that oven should be nice and cozy warm, because you had it, I hope. Preheat to 200, and then turn it off immediately. And this is, on a good day, it'll double in size, but if for pizza dough, don't worry too much about that. You're not making a bread, it has to rise perfectly, but it will rise, Johnny. So I'm putting it in here, and I've thought ahead. I already put a pizza stone in there, and you're gonna need a pizza stone for this. I'll tell you why later. Cleaning it up, and now we're gonna make the very, very interesting sauce, the pizza sauce. And really, I'm gonna build the pizza now, okay? All right, she's rising on you there, Johnny. I told you about the cast iron pan. Here it is. We're gonna build the pizza in this pan. It's a high pie, I'm telling you. All right, so I'll keep this over here for now. Over here, simple sauce. Watch this. I have a 28-ounce can of diced tomatoes. I think in Chicago they use a brand called, I believe it's 6-in-1. I'm not quite sure. Anyway, drain it. Because this thing is kind of like a casserole in a way, and you don't want all this wet stuff soaking into that crust. I'm going to show you how to sort of combat that while you're cooking it. But you want to dry these out, but it's still going to be called a sauce, right? I still have a lot of juice coming out of these things. So I'm going to put that in here. Get rid of the strainer. You want to use red wine vinegar. I have a lot of this Prosecco wine vinegar. It's a whiter wine. It's just to give it a little tang because it goes together with the tomatoes. You can also use fish sauce. I think they use that over in Shyland. Anyway, Chicago. So that's it. If that was a teaspoon, it was a lot. And of course, we want some salt in here. Emerald used to say, and he still does, I don't like bad tasting tomatoes. So mix that around. And you can chop it up a little bit. I mean, you don't want it that chunky, you know. And a little bit of oregano, because it's an Italian dish. Most of all, an Italian Chicago dish. And mix that around. And you want it to kind of hang, you know. You got 2 hours to wait for this thing to rise, so let it hang. That's all. And I'll show you what we're going to do with that layer of sausage meat. That if you can't find and you don't feel like taking sausage out of its casings, you can just make it. All right, this is good. This is good. Sage. Sage. Get it? Teaspoon in this pound of chopped meat I have put in here. You can use beef, you can use pork. Teaspoon, down and in. Garlic powder, 3/4 teaspoon, down and in. Thyme, 1/2 teaspoon, down and in. And salt, give me a heaping teaspoon, down and in. And once again, time to mix. All right, see? It doesn't look any different, but ooh, you could smell it. I gotta tell you, don't buy the sausage, make it. It's so easy. Yeah, boom, easy. Make patties out of it too. Tomatoes are marinating in themselves in a little bit of that vinegar and salt and a little bit of that oregano. And you saw what I put in this meat. And now it's just time to wait. And we have some low-fat mozzarella. Again, if you don't want stuff soaking into this crust, go for the low-fat. I know on a regular pizza you like to see the bubbling and the ooey gooey oiliness, but follow me on this one, okay? We're doing good so far, so stay with me. Now I'm gonna wait for everything to marry. Here comes the bride and here comes the sausage or whatever the hell's going on. And boom, let that rise and I'll see you back here. She has risen. Yeah, I'll show you. It's actually more than double its size, see? So don't let people say to you that gluten-free dough can't be worked with like regular dough. It just doesn't have that stretch. And I'll say it again, you don't want it for this situation. All right, let's use 1/2 of this for this pie. And, ooh, it's nice and warm. It's beautiful. And we're gonna take it, smack it down a little bit. It's gonna rise as it bakes again. And now I'm over here. It happens. All right. So I'm going to do a vegetable spray on our cast iron liberally. And I'm going to take some of this cornmeal. And I can't say 1/2 cup, 1/4 cup. I don't know. Just give it a sprinkle. If you want me to commit, I'll say 1/4 to 1/2. How's that? And get it on the bottom there so it's easier to get up later. Just that. And you know, do that whole thing that you do with the cake, right? With the flour. It's the same thing. Okay, that looks good. Yeah, see, I'll show you. See? And now I'm going to take my dough and I'm going to just kind of move it out from the middle towards the sides. All right, see? I just worked it around. Worked it up the sides. Beautiful. Beautiful. It's like a bowl, you know? It's like a pizza bowl, if you will. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this pound of mozzarella. I may need a little bit more, so I got 2 just in case. And I sliced it, and then I flattened it out as much as I can. Could. And now I'm just going to lay it in here along the bottom and the sides. Okay, little less than a pound. See the cheese in there? Easy, easy, right? And that'll be for my fat face later. And now we have this seasoned meat. We'll call it sausage meat because we made sausage meat out of the regular meats. What we did. All right. I'm at 500 degrees. I've been at 500 degrees on this oven for a good 20-25 minutes because that pizza stone, you want that to get really hot because that's going to give you a base. See, with all the fats we have working in here with the cheese and the meat, you don't want to soak that crust. So what'll happen is the crust will form on the bottom and say, "You're not coming past me, man. No one shall pass." And this is what I'm doing, right? Okay, now you got that layer in there, right? Coming together. Tell you what. All right, now I drained this tomato conglomerate a couple of times. So it's not dry, it's still a little wet, but it's not gonna soak through if you did this the right way. So let's spread this about. We'll spread it about. And if you want, you could add some more seasoning to it, but I would stay where you are. Stay where you are. Because we already seasoned it, you know? And cover the meat if you can. Keep it nice and juicy, right? The meat's gonna give off some of that fat too, but it also help block that water of the tomatoes from getting back to the bottom of the crust, okay? And that's it. As soon as she goes in, we're gonna turn it down to 400 and give it 30-35 minutes until you'll see that it's brown around the edges, okay? It pretty much means it's gonna be brown all over and the cheese will be melted. So let's give it a shot. Oh yeah, that's 500, all right, woo! Let's get this back to 400. And I might go in there and 180 it after maybe 15-20 minutes, depending on my mood. I don't know yet. But I'll see you back here. And 26 minutes later, pretty fast, right? Here we go. Woo, man, that's hot in there. I'm gonna let her cool down, but this is what she looks like coming out. How's that, huh? Let's let this cool down, and then we're gonna slice it open. But before we do, I always have to do this, and you know it. It's become a tradition. Illinois, you got it done. And just for that, a little Instagram.
This needs to stop now.
All right, cool down 15-20 minutes because this cast iron holds heat. And let's slice it open. I mean, come on, look at this. Woof. See the layers in there? The crust held up great. And we have the cheese oozing out the sides. I know that just bothers you just so much. There's that sausage patty in the middle and the tomatoes on top. And I don't know, can I do this? I think I can. You know what? I'm just diving in. There it is. Woo! I think it's the best pizza I ever had. Gotta be. Anyway, thank you, Illinois. Thank you, Chicago, especially. And thank you, everybody. This was a fun one, and it's good, and it's easy, and make it. Don't forget, subscribe right here and hit the bell. Boom. And next week, I don't know where we'll be. It'll be fun, though, I'll tell you that much. But this time, Illinois, getting it done. I am Chef Sal, and I will see you next time.
From Illinois. Yeah.